Welcome to Boomer TV. We're so glad you have joined us for this episode. It's the month of May, so naturally we're going to go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
I'm turning left, Julie. I'm almost there. I think I have all the skills necessary. We have a guest who knows all about the drivers, and that's Donald Davidson. I get to talk to him. I've talked to Donald on and off, as have many people over the years, and it fails to come up with something.
He's great.
Yeah.
Learn something every time. Also, if you were born between 48 and 64, obviously those are the baby boomer years. 65 to 85, those are the years that a lot of boomers contracted hepatitis C and didn't know it. Maybe you haven't, you still don't know it. We're going to educate you about that tonight.
So we got a little bit of health, and then we got a little bit of wellness. Julie is going to get all twisted up like a pretzel and show us some yoga. That's going to be great.
Well, Indy in Motion has been around for 15 years trying to get not only seniors or the 50-plus crowd, but anybody interested to join these free exercise classes. So we'll take you to that.
And some financial advice. If you've got a business and you're getting to the point where you want to hand it off, you want to retire, how do you do it?
Yeah.
Who do you talk to make that all go smoothly?
Yeah, there's a process for that.
There's
for
a
sure.
reason. Yeah.
And we are going to take you to a classic car museum with Ray Skillman himself.
We're back to this again.
Yes.
Okay.
Lots of driving in the month of May, Paul. Are you on board?
All right. Fasten your seatbelts. Here we go with another Boomer TV. Boomer TV is made possible with support from
Westport Homes, dedicated to building homes for every chapter of life, with plans and details that match a customer's specific needs and style. More information on Westport Homes' lifestyle collection, including community locations, at westport-home.com.
Altman, Poindexter, and Wyatt Lawyers, helping people with business and estate planning. More information is available at apwlawyer.com.
Unique Home Solutions, serving more than 30,000 homeowners since 1983. Providing home remodeling services from minor updates to complete renovations with a mission to improve appearance and efficiency. More at uniquehomesolutions.org.
So, Paul, how do they classify a classic car? Is that like 25 years or older? No, that's an antique car.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know if it's age or if it's the condition. I mean, I remember being around when there were AMC Gremlins and Pacers at the high school parking lot. And so I don't know even now if those would be considered classic cars.
Well, there are many people who love classic cars.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, there's a museum filled with classic cars that we're going to introduce you to.
Yeah, there's a well-known guy who's going to take us on that tour with our own Kevin Kimbrough.
Do you absolutely love classic cars, nostalgia, and other mementos from a bygone era? Oh, and a very special carousel that has a unique story and history of its own. We are embarking on a VIP tour of Ray Skillman's Classic Car Museum, located in Greenwood, Indiana, with none other than Ray Skillman himself as our official tour guide.
You're putting these together, you're buying them like this? There's probably 70 of them we didn't restore, and there's probably 40 of them that we did restore. Okay.
The Ray Skillman Classic Car Museum, open to the public, is not only home to one of the finest collection of classic vehicles in the country, it is also home to Ray Skillman Motorsports Racing Team. The racing team has multiple vehicles racing on any given weekend.
This is a Camaro, and this is a car that we run in Pro Stock.
Okay.
And my grandson Drew drives this car nationally, and they run 24 races a year with NHRA with this particular car here. My son also races, and that's his car right there. That's a car that I race that's sitting over there, that red and white car.
You're behind the wheel?
Yeah, I'm behind the wheel. Yeah. And we have, each one of us have 2 or 3 race cars.
And Ray Skillman gives us a sneak peek inside the racing team trailers and the preparation it takes to make it all possible to race.
This is an area here where we can download all the runs that we make, and you can find out what you did right, what you could have done a little bit better.
Okay.
And that's what this particular room is used for. The race car is hauled upstairs. And
Upstairs?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then all of this stuff is parts and pieces and stuff that you might need. This becomes an elevator right here. Roll the car up on it. And then the car is stored in there when we get through. Okay. It'll go up and then go straight up, and they'll push the car inside there.
The nostalgia that permeates throughout the car museum is clear. And boomers will also appreciate the many collectible items that have been acquired and curated throughout the museum.
That car rocks back and forth, and it sings the song, "See your Chevrolet in the USA, America wants you to call."
Got some Coca-Cola merchandise that's
Different.
bottling and Tom's Peanuts.
Yeah.
With so many items housed at the museum, Ray says that he could part with some of these classics. Now, is something like this for sale?
You know, most of our race cars aren't for sale,
Okay.
the old ones.
Yeah.
But, you know, we don't own anything we probably wouldn't sell.
Yeah. Everything's got a price.
Yeah.
It's extremely interesting to find out how Ray Skillman has obtained many of the classic pieces at the museum, with each and every item having such a unique backstory.
This is the exact car that I got to watch in 1957 run on the beach. I've got some pictures of it on the beach, and I got to witness it run. It's a long story.
Thank you, Ray Skillman, for having us here at your Classic Car Museum. It's been a wonderful experience, seeing all the mini cars, the different artifacts, and your racing team. All of those things I'm sure our viewers will like. I'm Kevin Kimbrough with Boomer TV. Thank you for joining us.
So Paul, I understand you went out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to talk to one of my favorite people ever because he is so smart.
He has got to be, when you think about it, the longest running radio personality in this market, because he's been on that radio network since the 60s.
Because he's so knowledgeable
Yeah.
and smart about racing. He knows everything.
Well, we'll see what he knows about maybe a little bit of racing history and the weather at the Indy 500. Is it going to snow this year? I figured I'd ask somebody else what the forecast
We've had some
was.
cold years before.
Yeah, let's find out with Donald Davidson. I remember you on the radio when I was a kid. I'm sure you're thrilled about that, but
It's all right.
I mean, it goes back a few years to. We have a picture here from a view from the old setup of the Motor Speedway radio. Now, what year would this picture be?
It might be 1990, because Bob Jenkins is in the shot, and Howdy Bell, and I'm in my usual slot there. And I'm guessing that was a qualifying day.
Yeah.
But just basically, you know, just this little area down here was all there was.
Now, you're here with Sid Collins then in 1966. The people who maybe are my age, if they have a memory on the radio, you know, I'm sure they're hearing Sid's voice in their heads.
Probably,
You know,
yes.
Stay tuned for the greatest spectacle in racing.
Very distinctive voice, and because he did other stuff. I always thought that Sid at his best was emceeing a banquet. He was a terrific MC.
And look at you here with,
That
speaking
was
of
Sid
broadcasters,
Yeah,
I go from Sid Collins to Ed Sullivan.
This is Ed Sullivan. That's Wayne Fuson of the Indianapolis News, and Ed Sullivan, who was an old newspaper guy. He'd known Wayne Fuson for years, so he happened to be in town. And
what year is this? Do you
this is
suppose?
1964. The
Here,
kids.
you are, you know, talk about staying on the cutting edge with some of the more popular young guns from the last couple of years here at the track.
That was taken probably 2 or 3 years ago. James Hinchcliffe, who went on to be runner-up in Dancing with the Stars.
That's right, yeah.
And then Connor Daly, who's the son of Derek Daly
Derek
and
Daly,
stepson of Doug Bowles.
There's so many,
yeah.
you know, you and a very young, senior is junior here, right?
That is Al Unser, and his total number of 500 wins at that time was none. This was probably 3 or 4 days before the 1970 500. We were at a function together, and he was on the pole. We knew that already, and then he went on to win the race.
James Garner, well-known Indy 500 fan.
A very, very nice man.
Yeah, everybody.
Very
I never
nice
met
man.
him, but everybody always says that.
He was a delight because he was a genuine race fan. He wasn't one of these people that said, well, you know, it's a thrill to be here. I've never had the opportunity to be here before. Yes, you have. You had the opportunity every year. You just didn't care about it, but he did. And
That's one way of looking at it.
It was funny sometimes because Sometimes he would ride in the parade and sometimes he wouldn't. But I remember on race morning, here's the vehicles going out with the celebrities on the back, and here's James Garner looking at them going by, and I said, look, here's the guy over here.
Everybody always says to me, oh, I remember that one year that it snowed out at the, during the race. Sometimes it's during qualifications, you know, sometimes it's during the race, and sometimes it's a little bit of snow, sometimes it's like, you know, oh, we were shoveling it, you know, to get out. It's never actually, has it snowed during a race?
I would say no. In fact, the only time that I remember any snow was a very, very slight flurry was the track opening day in 1989. And it was cold, and I remember that there'd be stuff floating around, but no, it wasn't a storm.
All right. Donald Davidson, back up for the second time on Boomer TV. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And for Boomer TV, I'm Bolt Boutique. Everybody always talks about starting a business.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to stop a business.
Well, when you're retiring and you're kind of ready to maybe hand that business to somebody else so that they can enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm going to give my sons my half of Boomer TV someday.
Really?
I'll let you know.
I'll let my daughter know.
Yeah, I'll let you
Okay.
know when I'm retiring. But if you have a business and you want some exit strategies, we have information.
We absolutely do. How to legacy your business in this segment of Boomer TV.
I'm with Ed Meiselgren, who is with the Indiana Business Advisors, and today we're going to talk about transitioning if you own a business. Now, how would you do that? How would you exit? What kind of plan or strategy do you need? Ed, why don't you give us a little bit of an explanation of what you do and what your specialty is?
Our practice has been around for 37 years, and we have helped almost 2,100 business owners sell their companies. We help people prepare their companies for sale before they actually enter into the marketplace. We've established a process that we evaluate the company from a value and a motivation standpoint, and then we establish the transfer channels, which can be a variety of different ways. Most business owners choose, I'm going to sell the business, but exit planning is not necessarily mean selling. It means knowing your options.
So when a person's in a position where they're ready to retire, and they want their business to continue, or they want to be able to, as you say, have some liquidity, you give them a process by which they can value that business and make decisions on how they want to exit?
With our help, we will surround the business owner with other advisors. For example, your wealth manager. The wealth manager now will take the value and they can establish a plan on after business sale or after exit, what does that income look like from the proceeds of the sale? So the first step, like I said, is utilizing business valuation to establish what we have. The second thing is owner readiness. Now, the interesting thing in this whole process is 80% of business sales fail. And
Fail to sell.
Fail to sell.
Really?
And as an industry as a whole, our practice, we're about 50% better than that. But the biggest drivers, 40% of why the businesses don't sell is value gap. What the business owner believes its value is versus what the market is. And the second thing, which is probably more surprising to the business owner, is motivation and the emotional component of selling. And that's something that everyone assumes it's just X's and O's, where we're dealing with the value of the company when the business owner is really, what is my afterlife of the business?
The emotional investment. Yeah.
Absolutely. And because they have invested so much time, energy, and effort for years building this business, the idea of not being there takes its emotional toll. And they get into the process and they're like, my God, what am I going to do? When they enter the exit process, they understand what they're going to be doing after the exit. And the other thing I should make clear is that a lot of business sales require that there's some post-sale involvement of the business owner, because again, they're so integral to the business itself that it's to the buyer's benefit.
So what kind of length of time is involved in the evaluation process When should a business owner that's thinking of exiting or transitioning contact you?
The sooner the better. Like, for example, yesterday I met with a client that I did some value work for 6 years ago, and we updated it a couple years ago. And then just yesterday he came in and said, you know, I'm ready. Well, now he understands the process, he understands what creates value, and he understands what's going to happen
Much
next.
better prepared.
Totally much better prepared.
Well, I appreciate you taking time to meet with us, Ed. And we look forward to hopefully some people being helped in this process. This is Lou Stoops with Boomer TV.
So there's this thing that's been around for 15 years called Indy in Motion. You heard of it?
Indy in Motion.
It's the Marion County Health Department, Indy Parks, and they got together 15 years ago to try to get our community moving and healthy.
In motion?
In motion,
In
exactly
motion,
right.
okay.
So for the past 15 years, there have been these free yoga classes. You're going to meet the woman who's taught 14 of those 15 years.
Is that yoga?
That's like ninja stuff. What are you doing?
I guess I need to
Good gracious.
get a leg up or something, yeah.
Something.
Show me how this
You need to-
works.
Watch this, Paul, and you'll learn all about it.
Letting our arms float down to our sides. Our palms will be resting on our mat. Coming back into the center whenever we're happy. Inhaling, left arm goes over our head as our left knee comes into our chest, pressing our back into our mat. It's most important just to make sure that it's comfortable for you. Indian Motion is a program that brought together National Institute for Fitness and Sport, Marion County Health Department, and Indy Parks.
Great partnership.
Great partnership, and it is a free class.
I love the fact that it's free. That partnership allows it to be free. And you do it because it's a passion.
And I really enjoy it, and all the people that I meet, that's probably the big thing, or the friendships that we have, because the whole coming together like that is the friendships, and then plus keep moving is the big thing.
And how many days a week, and when do you meet?
We meet on Monday and Wednesday from 3:15 to 4:15.
Here on the east side.
The east side at Indy Parks,
Okay.
Indy World Sports Park.
Let's talk about how yoga helps the body.
Relaxation, learn to read your body, know how you feel.
So listen to your body.
Yes.
Okay.
If something doesn't feel good when you're making a movement, don't do it. Whereas a younger person might just keep on doing it.
They could push through, maybe.
Right.
But if it hurts,
Don't
I mean,
do
it's
it.
not supposed
Yeah.
to hurt.
It's not no pain, no gain anymore.
right.
It's if it hurts, don't do it, and modify for how you feel today.
I like that, and I know there are modifications in yoga, and I'm sure you teach those.
Yes.
Remember to be kind to yourself throughout class.
Check in and think about how you feel. When you're ready, we'll extend our arms out from our shoulders like wings. Palms will be facing up toward the sky.
How is yoga beneficial to a baby boomer?
Most of all, I think the relaxation and breathing, learning to breathe, because you can breathe through, maybe you're not feeling well. Focus on your breath and forget about how bad you may feel.
And you wouldn't think that unless
No.
you've done yoga.
Exactly.
It's a practice that you can use
Yeah.
not just during that hour of instruction, but at other times in your life.
Yes. We have a 3-part breath that you can do, like if you can't sleep, get up in the middle of the night, do 3-part breath. Just inhale to 3 count, exhale to 3 count.
Do you feel like yoga helps with injury prevention?
Yes, most important. Especially as we age, I'm noticing that myself. There's things that I could do when I first started teaching yoga that today I know I shouldn't do.
Okay.
And I can modify it, and I encourage my class to modify.
Isn't movement for boomers important?
Yes.
No
Need to
matter
get
what
up,
that movement is.
Get up and get out and walk. Just, make yourself walk to dump a piece of paper in the wastebasket and go back.
Move.
10 or 12 times just to move.
It's all about
Most
being
important.
active.
Yes.
Somehow.
Anything to be active. A yoga class is wonderful because you can move at your own pace, and that's most important, to move at your own pace and do whatever you can do that day. That's the big thing, is just do whatever you can do today, and don't worry about what you did yesterday or what you're going to do tomorrow. Just enjoy the movement for today.
Well, happy 15th anniversary.
Well, thank you very much. It's been great. It's been wonderful for me. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Are you scared of needles, Julie?
I don't care for needles.
I look away. I mean, I'm not.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to see it.
I don't either.
But maybe I should be looking more closely.
Maybe you should. We've got a bit of a health segment to share with you, particularly baby boomers, because between the years of 1945 and 1965, a lot of people contracted hepatitis C. Now, I remember first hearing about this when Naomi Judd was diagnosed. Remember the
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Mama
guess
Judd?
So, yeah.
So it's important information that you might need to know because you could have it and you don't even know it.
Mary Snell has the information.
Well, Nancy, I'm going to be honest with you. When I started researching this topic, I really found myself with a lot of misinformation, a lot of misconception about this disease. So I'm really, here to try to get some information on diagnosis all the way up to treatment. So let's get started. What actually is hepatitis C?
Hepatitis C is an inflammation of the liver. If you look at medical terminology, itis always means inflammation, and hepa refers to liver. So hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver, and then there's several different varieties of the different hepatitis infections.
And what we're talking specifically is hepatitis C. Now, here again, what are the different risk factors for this particular virus infection?
Well, it's a blood-to-blood infection. The baby boomers between 1945 and 1965 are at particularly high risk because so many things weren't known when they were in their younger years as far as some of the behaviors. Back in the 80s, the drug use was so high. So anybody that did intravenous drugs, or even back in the 80s when the cocaine problem was so big, if you use a straw that someone else had used, that can do it. If you're a healthcare worker, obviously, anybody that has received hemodialysis is at risk. Blood transfusions before 1992, if you had, for example, any kind of a disease that you needed clotting products, before 1987 the clotting products were not checked for the hepatitis C. So there's all different sorts of behaviors that people never even think that they're innocent behaviors that maybe was treated in a doctor's office or hospital, but still put them at risk.
Well, I'm sure there are individuals thinking, well, I don't have any signs or symptoms and I feel fine. Are there signs and symptoms that can maybe prompt someone to seek medical treatment?
There are signs, but the problem is the signs don't usually appear until there's actual damage of the liver occurring. Once the disease has progressed so far, it starts a process called fibrosis, which is the scarring of the liver. If unchecked, it will eventually lead to cirrhosis. So by the time you're getting into the fibrosis, you may have itchy skin, you can bruise easily, very tired, loss of appetite, all kinds of very general things that people don't really think, oh, this is a disease. And so, but like I said, and by the time those actually occur, it's often, a little bit late. So what you need to do, especially if you're in that baby boomer category or any of the high-risk behaviors, you need to be proactive and ask your doctor to do a simple blood test to see if you do have the hepatitis C antibodies. If you have the antibodies present, then you need a second blood draw to verify that you have active hepatitis C at that point.
Wouldn't this be part of just maybe a routine blood test that we have done, every year as part of our physical exam?
I wish it was, but unfortunately they don't do it as a regular blood test, and your typical blood panel just does not show if you have the hepatitis C. So unless the doctor suspects from something you've told him that you are at a very high risk, most likely he will not be proactive and do that. So that's why you need to take it upon yourself to be proactive and request one.
Well, I think that's great. And I think everybody needs to be sort of their own advocate for health care, definitely. So if you are planning to have a physical exam, for instance, coming up, that is something you want to make sure you put on the radar, ask for a blood test to be screened for hepatitis C. I am so thrilled that you were here with us and really enlightened us on what hepatitis C is and what we can actually do for ourselves, a very simple blood test.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Mary.
And I'm Mary Snell with Boomer TV.
Well, thanks so much for watching tonight's episode of Boomer TV. We're glad that you were with us, and hopefully a friend or family member, or you're making parties out of it, like I am at my house. Hi, guys.
Well, wait a minute. You're at this house during the so you're at another house watching yourself in this house. You're magic, Julie Patterson.
Hardly. Hope you enjoyed it, though.
I understand
Yeah.
that, once again, your staff of comedy writers
Yes, I'm
has
ready.
found the
New
perfect
material.
way to close the show. Am I right about this?
You are. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Spell
Spell who?
W-H-O. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Oink. Well, make up your mind. Are you a pig or a owl? Okay, so it's not as strong as maybe weeks past.
I would close with the first one.
Okay, I do need direction. Please offer it up anytime. All right, thanks for watching. I'll work on some fresh material for next week.
We'll see you on Boomer TV. For more all things Boomer, just visit our website. That's indieboomer.com. Indie Boomer connects TV, magazine, and radio. It contains useful information for baby boomers all over the Indianapolis metropolitan area. And you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Pick up Indie Boomer magazine at most Kroger stores and libraries. Look for us all over Indy.
Listen to Boomer Radio every Saturday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. on Freedom 95 with a rebroadcast Sundays at 7:30. Indie Boomer, for the next chapter of your life.
Boomer TV is made possible with support from
Westport Homes, dedicated to building homes for every chapter of life, with plans and details that match a customer's specific needs and style. More information on Westport Homes' lifestyle collection, including community locations, at westport-home.com.
Altman, Poindexter, and Wyatt Lawyers, helping people with business and estate planning. More information is available at apwlawyer.com.
Unique Home Solutions, serving more than 30,000 homeowners since 1983. Providing home remodeling services from minor updates to complete renovations with a mission to improve appearance and efficiency. More at uniquehomesolutions.org.